In the smoky, soul-filled clubs of Detroit and the electrifying jazz joints of New York City, one voice soared with a fearless spirit, weaving bebop, scat, and raw emotion into a sound that redefined vocal jazz. Sheila Jordan wasn't just a singer, she was a trailblazer, a survivor, and a storyteller whose innovative performances, often accompanied only by an upright bass, captivated legends like Charlie Parker and inspired generations of musicians. Known as "The Lady with the $1 Million Ears," her 1963 album Portrait of Sheila remains a cornerstone of jazz, and her work as an educator shaped countless voices. Her life, marked by poverty, racial prejudice, and personal struggles, was a testament to resilience, with music as her lifeline. On August 11, 2025, at the age of 96, Sheila Jordan passed away, leaving a legacy that continues to swing through the jazz world. Today, we're diving deep into the extraordinary life of Sheila Jordan. Her cause of death, her age, her family, her net worth, her lifestyle, and the biography of a woman whose voice was her salvation. So, settle in, and let's honor a true jazz icon whose music still resonates. Sheila Jeanette Jordan, born Sheila Jeanette Dawson on November 18, 1928, in Detroit, Michigan, entered a world of hardship that would shape her indomitable spirit. Born to 21-year-old factory workers Donald and Margaret Dawson, Sheila's early years were defined by poverty and instability. Her father, present at her birth in a modest room with a Murphy bed, left soon after, later remarrying and fathering 5 children, Sheila's half-siblings, whom she met in adulthood. Her mother, just 17 when Sheila was born, battled alcoholism, unable to provide consistent care. By age 3, Sheila was sent to live with her grandparents in Summerhill, Pennsylvania, a coal mining town in the Allegheny Mountains. There, she grew up in a cramped home with no running water, an outhouse, and 9 siblings who were actually her aunts and uncles. "We were probably the poorest people in a poor town," she recalled in a 2014 NPR interview, describing a childhood with little affection, sleeping in a shared bedroom with blankets but no sheets. Yet, music became her refuge. Singing in church and at school, Sheila found her voice, a beacon of hope in a bleak world. By her early teens, around 1940 or 1942, she returned to Detroit to live with her mother, immersing herself in the city's vibrant music scene. At 14, a jukebox playing Charlie Parker's "Now's the Time" changed her life. "I knew right then that's the music I'll dedicate my life to," she told NPR, her passion for bebop igniting a fire that would burn for decades. Sheila's career began in Detroit's jazz clubs, where she sang semi-professionally as a teenager. She formed the vocal trio Skeeter, Mitch, and Gene, using her middle name, Gene, writing lyrics to Parker's solos and performing at his Detroit shows, a bold move for a young white woman in the predominantly black jazz scene. Facing racial prejudice for her interracial collaborations, she persevered, her talent earning respect. In 1951, at 23, she moved to New York City, diving into the heart of bebop. She studied with pianist Lenny Tristano and bassist Charles Mingus, whose mentorship shaped her improvisational style. Her friendship with Charlie Parker, who nicknamed her for her uncanny ability to hear and mimic complex melodies, was a defining influence. From 1952 to 1962, she was married to Duke Jordan, Parker's pianist, a relationship marked by love but strained by his heroin addiction. After their divorce, Sheila raised their daughter, Tracey, alone, working as a typist and legal secretary for 20 years at an advertising agency to support them. She performed on weekends at Greenwich Village's Page 3 Club with Herbie Nichols and in churches with trombonist Roswell Rudd, balancing motherhood with her passion. Her 1962 debut album, Portrait of Sheila, recorded for Blue Note with guitarist Barry Galbraith and bassist Steve Swallow, was a groundbreaking work. Its bass and voice arrangements, featuring standards like "If I Were a Belle and Dat Dear," showcased her scat-singing prowess, earning praise from Scott Yano as evidence of one of the most consistently creative of all jazz singers. Yet, racial bias and single motherhood limited her opportunities, and she didn't record again until 1975's confirmation for East Wind. The 1970s marked a resurgence for Sheila. She recorded Sheila, 1977. With Norwegian bassist Ariel Anderson, Old Time Feeling, 1982, with Harvey S. and The Crossing, 1984, collaborating with pianists like Steve Kuhn and Kenny Barron. Her dual work with Harvey S. became her signature, with albums like I've Grown Accustomed to the Bass, 2000, and Celebration, 2005, showcasing her intimate, conversational style. She recorded 19 albums after 2000, including Little Song, 2003, and Winter Sunshine, 2008. And her final release, Portrait Now, dropped on February 14, 2025, coinciding with her last live performance at New York's Birdland. Sheila's teaching career was equally impactful. From 1978 to 2005, she taught at City College of New York, and later at the University of Massachusetts at Amherst and the Vermont Jazz Center, mentoring vocalists like Laura Valle and Theo Bleckman. Her workshops in Austria, Germany, and Poland inspired global audiences. Her accolades included the 2012 NEA Jazz Masters Award, the 2006 MAC Lifetime Achievement Award, the 2004 Baker's Keyboard Lounge Lifetime Achievement Award, and a 2017 University of Massachusetts Honorary Doctorate. Her 2014 biography, Jazz Child, A Portrait of Sheila Jordan by Ellen Johnson, detailed her triumphs over racism, addiction, and poverty. Sheila's voice, described by the New York Times as both vulnerable and powerful, bridged bebop's pioneers to modern jazz. On August 11, 2025, Sheila Jordan passed away at 96 in her New York City apartment, as confirmed by her bassist Harvey S. to NPR and her daughter Tracey to the BBC. She had been in hospice care following a 100-day stay at the Actors Fund nursing home, as noted in a GoFundMe launched by Tracey on July 7, 2025, which raised $133,224 toward a $140,000 goal to cover medical debts and a plot at Woodlawn Cemetery's Jazz Corner. The fundraiser cited limited Medicare coverage, 10 hours of weekly home care, after Medicaid cuts tied to a 2026 Republican budget law signed by Donald Trump, highlighting the financial strain of her final months. No specific cause of death was disclosed, but posts on X and Wikipedia mentioned dementia, likely Lewy body dementia, given her cognitive decline. Tracey's statement to Express.co. UK described Sheila passing peacefully, listening to Bill for Benny by Marcus Belgrave, a fitting farewell for a jazz devotee. Tributes flooded in, with Billboard calling her a jazz icon and fans on X praising her as a singular voice whose scat was pure freedom. Herbie Hancock tweeted, "Sheila's voice carried the soul of bebop." Her death, alongside other recent losses, marked a poignant moment for jazz, as Jazz Times noted the passing of a generation. Sheila's family was her heart. Survived by her daughter, Tracey Jordan, from her marriage to Duke Jordan, 1952 to 1962, Sheila was a devoted single mother after Duke's addiction led to their split. She told Jazz Times in 2012, "Tracey was my reason to keep going, she's the one I could truly love." Her father's later family included 5 half-siblings, met in adulthood, who remained distant but part of her story. Tracey, her only child, became her caregiver in 2025, managing her hospice care and advocating for her legacy through the GoFundMe. Sheila's close friends, like Joan Belgrave, who played music at her bedside, and Harvey S., her musical partner, were her extended family. Tracey's tribute called Sheila a living bridge to bebop's greats, reflecting their deep bond. A memorial service at St. Peter's Church in New York City was planned to honor her life. Sheila's net worth was estimated at $1 to $2 million at her death, per Biography pot. Her income derived from her discography, including Portrait of Sheila, Confirmation, The Crossing, and 19 post-2000 albums, plus session work with Carla Bley, Roswell Rudd, and George Gruntz. Teaching at City College, UMass, and international workshops, along with NEA fellowships and awards like the 2006 Mary Lou Williams Women in Jazz Award, contributed to her earnings. Royalties from her albums and performances into her 90s, including at venues like the Village Vanguard, bolstered her finances. Sheila lived modestly in a New York City apartment, surrounded by jazz records and photos of Parker, prioritizing music over material wealth. The GoFundMe underscored her financial struggles in her final months, as medical costs outstripped her savings. Sheila's lifestyle was a testament to her love for jazz and resilience. In Detroit, she sang in clubs as a teen, facing racial slurs for performing with black musicians, yet she never wavered. In New York, she balanced secretarial work with gigs at venues like the Blue Note, often hiring a sitter for Tracey to perform. Her 1960s battle with addiction, as noted in Yahoo, was a low point, but she overcame it, crediting music in Tracey. Sheila's apartment was a jazz haven, filled with memories of her village days. She loved teaching, sharing her scat singing techniques with students worldwide, and performing, even in her 90s, as she told NPR in 2014, "I'll keep doing this music as long as I live." Her final performance at Birdland in 2025 was a triumph, despite her frailty. Her faith, rooted in her church performances, was spiritual rather than religious, as she saw jazz as her survival. Her dementia limited her later years, but she remained engaged, listening to music and connecting with Tracey and friends. Sheila Jordan's legacy is a beacon in jazz. Her portrait of Sheila redefined vocal jazz, influencing artists like Esperanza Spalding and Norah Jones. Her bass and voice style, honed with Harvey S., was revolutionary, and her teaching shaped vocalists like Theo Bleckman. Her NEA Jazz Masters Award, 9 Downbeat Critics poll nods, and 2017 honorary doctorate reflect her impact. To Tracey, she was a loving mother; to the jazz world, a pioneer who faced racism, addiction, and poverty with courage. Her advice to Jazzwax in 2012, "Keep the music alive," inspires us to honor our passions and lift others up. Sheila's story, as Ellen Johnson wrote in Jazz Child, is one of grit, love, and the transformative power of music. Thank you for joining me in celebrating the soulful life of Sheila Jordan. If her journey touched your soul, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Let's keep her jazz legacy swinging, alive in every note. Until next time, keep chasing the music.